Hey guys, Bobby here today. Hey folks, today we will be installing a set of front sway bar links on a 2000 model Ford Ranger. So stay tuned while we get this done. Okay guys, hey, what we have here is some Moog brand sway bar links, and it is part number K7275. And it's the same part number for both sides. And let's just open up the box and see what we got here. And there's a bag here. It comes with a link rod, a nut, necessary washers, and bushings here. And both of them probably have the same thing in them. Let's just double check this one as well. And guys, let's go ahead and head on out to the vehicle and get that thing up on some jack stands. Okay folks, hey, I'm underneath the vehicle and we have it properly supported on jack stands. Okay, never crawl underneath a vehicle without having it supported on jack stands. Do not ever trust a jack. Okay, so we have our sway bar links here, and if you can see here, there is no bushing left. Okay, let's go right up top here so you can see that. Look at the head of that bolt just bouncing back and forth. So as we go down the road, all we hear is clankety clank clank clank, and that's the way it is on both sides of this thing. So let's see if we can get these nuts to come off of here. If we can, great. If we can't, we'll cut them off. So let's get started on that and we'll get our new parts installed. Okay guys, we took a little bit of penetrating oil, put it on the threads here, and we're going to give this thing a try. We got our Ingersoll Rand 231 here, and we're going to use a 5/8 wrench with a little flip socket made to it on the other end. So 5/8 or a 16 millimeter should work fine for that. And let's just see if this thing will come off of here. Hopefully it will. Last resort would be just cutting it off with a Ziz wheel. So let's just see if she'll back out. Oh yeah, there we go. So we got the nut off of this side. And let me see if I can get the wrench off. I don't know if I can or not. Okay, let's see if we can pull this out of here and I'll show you. There we go. We got that off. Oh, I don't know if I can get the center part of this thing off of here. It seems to be rusted in place. I may have to actually cut the top of it off. So give me just a moment here, guys. So I'll see if I can figure out a way of getting it out of here. All right, now this side here, guys, this is actually coming off pretty good. Let's see if I can pull. Here we go. As you can see, all this come right out. This is the center support piece. On the other side here, this is actually seized up on here right now. So let me see if I can get something to break that loose. Last resort would be just to cut it at the top. So let's just see what we can get done with that, and then we'll move on. Okay, we're back here on the left side. Guys, as you see, I got my 90-degree die grinder with a cutoff wheel. I can't get this thing to come loose here, so I'm just going to cut the head of the bolt off up here. And this should only take a minute or so, and then we'll be ready to install the new ones. Okay, folks, here's the piece that we were fighting with. This little sleeve here was not coming off of that long bolt. So as you can see, we cut it right here, and here's the head of it. We just yanked it off with a pair of pliers. So we cut that so we could get this side the rest of the way off. And now let me go grab their new parts and we'll get it installed. Okay, folks, hey, I want to show you real quick how these things go together just over here on the bench. It might be easier just to show you here in case you've never done this before versus trying to watch me do it underneath the car, okay? Now, it will come with some instructions here, but I don't think we'll need that today. I'll just be able to explain to you the correct way to do it. I'm going to get them both open here, okay? And get all the pieces out right here. Okay, so here we go. All right. Anyway, you have your bolt, okay? You have your sleeve, and you should have 4 of these little bushings right here for each one. And you'll have 4 washers, okay? So here's how this is going to go together. This is going to go down through your the upper or the part of the sway bar. Okay, so what we got to do is get that prepped and ready. Hold on, let me make sure I got this right before I tell you something wrong. We're going to put a washer on here like so. Okay, on the nut. We're going to take a bushing with this piece here turned in the downward motion. Okay, let me make sure all these washers are the same. They are. Sometimes they'll give you different ones, but typically with that tit sticking out right there, have that away from the very top. Okay, now this is going to go through the sway bar. Okay, so the sway bar is going to be like right here where my finger is. Okay, so then you're going to take a rubber bushing with the tit here sticking this way, facing that. Okay, so that's the sway bar will be pinched in between here. Okay, now take another washer, okay, on that side. Then run that, this will be to the sway bar. Then you'll have your spacer in between here. Then down here, you'll have another washer on this side. You have another bushing with the little tit, if you will, facing toward the lower control arm. Okay, so the lower control arm will go right here. Then you'll put another bushing on here, and then you'll put your washer and finally your nut on the end. Okay, you'll put and this is a crimped nut. Okay, so and a crimped nut, you can see how crimped that is. So when this goes on, it's not going to require any Loctite. It's not going to require a lock washer of any kind. As it tightens, it's going to stay in place because the nut is actually crimped. Okay, so once you get all this in place, and go ahead and get both sides in place. Okay, and that's what we're going to do when we get underneath there, and then we'll start tightening this up. Now we will tighten this, and actually I think the instructions kind of show you here. Okay, you don't want to over tighten. Right here, if you see this person here, these bushings are really squeezed. Okay, it doesn't need to be like that. You actually just want to take up all the clearance in the you tighten the bolt down till there's no clearance where you can't move the sway bar around. And actually, see, it says right here, for assembly and function, correctly tighten the assembly until the bushing starts to expand and then loosen a quarter turn. Okay, that makes sense. So you can actually just kind of squeeze it a little bit till you see the bushing starting to get a little bit of preload on it, and then actually back off a quarter turn. Okay, because you don't want a whole lot of preload on here, because what it'll end up doing is over time, it'll already have a lot of pressure on that bushing, and then it won't take very much more pressure before it actually splits it. Okay, so don't over tighten these. All right, so let's go underneath the car now. With all that said, and Nathaniel's going to try to film me the best he can underneath there, putting all these in place. Okay, and then we'll get them tightened down and see how they work. Okay, I got the bolt down inside the sway bar with just one bushing and a washer in place. We're going straight down from the top down. And then we're going to stick a bushing with the little tit facing up toward the sway bar. And then we're going to put a washer in place. And then the spacer, if we can. And so you may have to push up, like I had to push up on it a little bit just to get that in place. Okay. And now let's go ahead and put a washer in place. Okay. And another bushing with the tit down. Okay, just like so. All right, so that we're going to leave that alone for a minute, just like that. Okay, and I've stuck it in the hole just a little bit, so hopefully if it does, so if this bushing wants to fall off, it really can't. I got the stud through here. So now let me move over to the other side, and I'm going to put it in place just like that before I put the bottom one on. Okay, I just want to get everything in place and get it to this point on both sides, and then we'll put the lower bushing in place. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put our rod through with one bushing and washer facing up. Put it in place. And while we're still here, I'm going to go ahead and put the spacer on here as well. Push that up in place and lower bushing, washer first, then bushing, and now we're ready to go into the hole. Okay, so we're into the hole on this side now. Now, bushing, tip going up, washer, and then nut. Okay, so we're going to actually get this side in place first, and then we will move over onto the other side and do it as well. Okay, folks, hey, we've got this thing. We got the nuts on the bottom. We had a little bit of trouble. We didn't film this. We had to take a floor jack and just kind of lift up just a little bit on the control arm on the right side to get the nut started. And you will run into that sometimes. It'll be a little hard to get to actually get it started. But once you do, then you can tighten up everything. We're going to use our 3/8 cordless here with a 17 millimeter socket. We're holding the top with our 5/8 wrench, and we're just going to go and tighten down until we see a little bit of crush on both sides. And I think that's good right there. Let me do the other side as well, and then we'll back those off a quarter turn. Alrighty, that looks good too. So let me grab my ratchet right here, and I'm going to double check both sides of this thing. I've got just a little bit of crush going on my bushings. All the clearance is taken up. Look at this other side as well. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and do just like the instructions say and back these off about a quarter turn. Okay, so let's see if I can do that. See if I can do it without holding something. I'm gonna have to hold it up top. Let me grab my wrench right quick. Okay, so here we go, guys. Holding the wrench right there, the ratchet right there, wrench on top, and we're going to back off a quarter turn, just like so. Okay, let me do that on the other side, and we should be set to go. Okay, guys, I want to thank you for stopping by and checking out our little video today. We're getting ready to take it off the jack stands and take it for a quick test drive, and hopefully we won't hear all the clankety clank 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 noise that we were hearing before with them worn out links. Have a great day. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We will see you next time. Take care.